Generosity and service have always been a part of my life. My family, from the time I was an early child, had me involved in doing community service activities. My father and mother were known within their inner circle for taking care of the underdog, the kids at school who didn't have enough money for their milk at school. They bought clothes for the kids. We helped families at Christmas, and there were a lot of quiet things that they did and continue to do for their community in Mississippi. So it was really inbred in me at a young age that it's our responsibility and it's a gift to be able to do for others. One of the things that has really been a God thing for me is how He has worked in my life to bring me to this point. I work for a nonprofit organization that works with children and youth who have a parent incarcerated in a Georgia prison. And I originally attended a Bible study back in 2000, and it just happened that the minister was forming this organization at the time. She founded it and asked me to serve at a summer camp. I became a volunteer for 6 or 7 years, and as I was beginning to retire from the corporate world, she said, "Nancy, I have a job for you." So it was a real easy transition to transfer from the business world over to the nonprofit business world. I was very unsettled in my professional career. I felt God was nudging me to do something else. So when I began working for Kidz2Leaders, there was a sense of peace and release that I was doing really what He asked me to do. And I think He equipped me for this time in this place through all my years in the corporate world, because there's not a skill I don't use that I spent 30 years developing that I now use to work with these children and with the organization that I serve. My cup is so full because of the relationships that I have developed since I've been doing more service to others. I mentor a girl and have had that relationship for 5 years, and it's like having another child. The blessings that I've received, she's just filled an empty spot in my heart, and I think that's the biggest thing I've seen. The reward is the relationships and the feeling that you really are making a difference in someone's life. I think if you're trying to decide whether to serve or how to serve, sometimes you just need to jump in and try something. Sometimes we just analyze it for too long, and when we could do one small project or help one person before we take on changing your complete career. Some people have time to volunteer at night. Some people have time to volunteer at home, doing administrative tasks, and it's not that we're all going to change to a career where we're serving, but there's certainly, it's certainly possible for everyone to serve, so sometimes you just have to jump in and try. My desire to serve others has really been a lifelong process for me. For some people, it is one major conversion, but I think it's a growth opportunity to take one step at a time and just integrate it into your life. We are asked by the Lord to give our time, our gifts, and our service to Him, and sometimes that becomes a juggling act. Sometimes we have more treasure than we have time. There are times that I've had more time than I've had treasure, and then sometimes I've been very aware of my gifts, and sometimes I didn't think I had a gift at all to give, but God takes whatever I have to give Him and uses it. I would encourage people to step out in faith that God will help you have time, have talents, and have treasure to give to service. When we think of service, we often think about it, what we're doing in the community or what we're doing in the state, the nation, the world. And you say, well, how much is enough? How much should I be doing? And I really think that that whole service concept should be applied at home also. That servant leadership that we provide within our families and our kids. So I think service is ongoing. It's just integrated into a part of our lives. One reason I continue to serve is because I want to model my life after Jesus. And I think if you're from a faith community, service is a way to become more and more Christ-like. I also feel from maybe a selfish point of view that it fills a hole in my heart, and I think it fills a hole. I think people have a desire deep within to help others. It's also such a great reward to see when change takes place, when you really have helped someone overcome an obstacle. It just really does fills a hole in my heart. I think that the principles of service are really a time-honored, time-tested truth. I believe that the kids that I work with, who are part of the next generation of leaders in our country, believe in these principles and are holding on to them. I think we need to continue to give them opportunities to serve and to help them understand some of the outcomes, the results that can come from their service. If I were to speak to my family and tell them how I felt about service, I would say trust me. Trust me that getting out and doing for others is the great reward. And we're rewarded by our faith that what we're going to do is going to make a difference. And we truly can help people change and make their lives better. And in return, have the hole in our heart is filled.